in that white and blue Miata at the front.
Yeah, he really does, and he's not afraid to use the draft, use the slipstream. A little bump draft assistance has never hurt. Back in 2019, he and Eric Cattell were bump drafting. That was back when Eric had his B-Series Honda, and it looked like he got rear-ended at a traffic light when he got shoved forward by Emil's K24 Miata.
Well, look who's behind him this time. It's the C8. So yes, they're buddies. They work together and they build these cars together. But will Aaron put a scuff on the C8? I don't know. We'll find out. Green flag in 10 seconds or less.
Yeah, he's got some self-preservation, I think. But safety car is off. They're going to head up the hill. Eibach GRIDLIFE Touring Cup. Remember that the season champion gets to go tour the Eibach facility in Germany and a chance to go see the Nürburgring. And that's a little bit of a prize on the table. We haven't had that before in Eibach GLTC. But here we go. 15 minutes up on the board for this grassroots series. Green flag, and we're underway at Road America. Better launch for Matan than the inside lane. It looks like Emil Tab did not get a very good start, and it's going to jam up that inside lane. And it looks like Joel Morrison's coming to the inside. Here comes Magnussen filling the inside row.
Yeah, not a good start at all for Tab. It's going to stack everything up on that inside row. Morrison's going to take it 3 wide. Look at Matt Waldbaum around the outside in the gray S2000, and they're going to have a Ranha running way wide in turn 1. Everybody makes it through except for Dai Win, a little tank slapper. He keeps it out of contact with anybody else and is able to rejoin okay.
Yeah, Ryan Power had a big moment on the inside as well. Looks like Magnussen and Waldbaum packed up under the rear spoiler of Matan Rosenberg. We'll see if Waldbaum, he's got a DCT gearbox in that thing, paddle shifted up through the gears under the Sargento Bridge towards 5.
120, 130 miles an hour as the field pounds down towards turn 5 for the first time. Magnussen with a lot of pressure on the back of Matan Rosenberg so far. We're side by side for third. Waldbaum trying to maintain that gain that he made at the start. Emil Tab looking around the outside. Aaron Lichty was one of the losers because of that slow start from Emil Tab. He's all the way back to almost 7th, still having to go side by side. The field now streaming their way through turn 5. Everybody clean and clear.
Yeah, Merkur XR4 Ti with Alan Newsom behind the wheel, gained a couple spots here. Magnussen keeping Rosenberg a lot more honest this time. Chatroop door-to-door with Joel Morrison. Andy Smedegaard to the inside of Ranha, who I think is forward a couple of spots here in the opening few corners. So definitely that yellow 57 moving up the field. Now this is where Matt Waldbaum's car, in theory, might be able to make some gains here with more aero on the rear. So the wider keep him honest. Sorry, Tom.
Excuse me. Just see the wider approach through the carousel for Breton, slightly tighter for Magnussen, and then very, very tight to the inside, cutting distance for Waldbaum. He's certainly closed up just a little bit. Hurdle looking on the inside of Ryan Power for just outside the top 10. Hale running a little bit wide. That's sketchy. He holds onto it just nicely. Aranha's never been afraid of going out there in that Corvette with the black rear bumper.
No, he has not been afraid of it. And Peter Zhang to the inside of, I think that was Blake Corthan that came in down. Ooh, this side-by-side there. That was a late move from Emil Tab on Matt Waldbaum. And that fight for third is going to quickly allow Magnussen and Rosenberg to escape again. A little bit of co-opetition might be necessary here. Hale to the inside of Morrison through Billy Mitchell. See if maybe these two can work together. They're going to need a little bit of cooperation, I think, to keep these big V8 cars in sight. Oh, Ranha off at turn 14 into the gravel fast.
That was a pretty good head of steam. He might have made it all the way to the tires. We'll hope not. I do think that Emil Tab, and it's also looks like Carlos Mendez involved, at least one other car. We're going immediately to a full course yellow, probably for that incident, maybe for something else. Tab was not able to nose ahead, as yes, it looks like a pretty significant, some sort of failure on the Christian Aranha machine. It was a car for us to watch, and unfortunately it ends in smoke, literally, outside turn 14.
And immediately out of the car, and again, that's the thing you want to do. If the car has got flames or smoke in it, you don't want to spend any more time in it than you need to. So bailed out to the gravel potentially. We saw Carlos Mendez kind of got caught up in that. I don't know if there was some fluid or something maybe.
I doubt it. There was body damage and wheel damage on the left side of Mendez' car, and also on the left side of it looked like, at least on the left side of Aranha's car. So it's hard to make that make sense with where those cars would have had that. Maybe there's even more cars involved. We'll find out a little bit later. So we got one full green lap running here. Rosenberg was in control, but not dominantly so, over Magnussen, Waldbaum, and Tab, rounding out the top 4, Lichty and Morrison. So it sounds like we have a little bit of this incident on replay. Maybe just what we saw, we can put it together just a little bit more.
Trying to see if we can catch it again any way that we can, but let's have a look at it here, Tom. Tell me what we can pick apart here in just a moment. This is the shot that we got. So again, we just see Aranha go in the frame, and then he goes by.
And he was far left very, very early. So that tells me that car was out of control coming out of turn 13. And then a little bit later, we saw Mendez come back into shot. Again, it looked like Mendez had a little bit of either wheel or body damage on that car as it came back into shot, but it's tough to piece that together based on that.
Yeah, so unfortunately under full, oh, there's another car. Let's start piecing this together. Michael Hilo, and that could be just mechanical. He's stopped on driver's right. Doesn't look like there's anything wrong with it. He's struggled with this car. Recently LS swapped this time. It was on the VQ Nissan engine and decided to go with an LS V8. But he struggled to get that car as reliable as he needs to really bring it to the pointy end.
Yeah, he dropped out of race 1 for a mechanical issue as well, so that seems to be a bit of a pattern establishing there. Hopefully he can get that fixed for tomorrow. Another bit of maybe long night of work. I just watched the replay one more time on the YouTube stream. Hello, YouTube viewers, by the way. And I might have misidentified the wheel damage on that BMW. It might just have silver lips on it, making it look a little bit funny to me in that quick moment. So we'll scratch that speculation. But this full course yellow certainly for the stranded Corvette far left on drivers outside at turn number 14. Should be a relatively quick extraction as that's right at pit in. Maybe we'll get back to green flag racing with more than one to go this time on race number 2.
Yeah, looking again, I don't see anything there on the 83, Tom. Yep. So again, it's just interesting. We had at least a mechanical and then potentially some contact, and again, hard to tell. So it was just a very dramatic sector 3 on lap 1, unfortunately. So hopefully we get these cars pulled off track. We get some racing in here for the tail end of this race, and opportunity for Waldbaum and Tab once again. They've been battling each other pretty hard. You know, it's hard not to just focus on your own race and just try to take down those V8 behemoths on your own. But again, working together in this instance sometimes, Tom, just means not working against each other.
Yeah, I agree, but Emil Tab doesn't necessarily have a reason to not work with Matt Waldbaum, let's say, because I think that Miata does have a little bit more pace in it. He qualified out maybe about a second quicker than Waldbaum, and he was certainly racy on the back end. It also looked to be a really, really nice drafting car when you put a car in front of it, that Miata, with this lower profile. And honestly, they're not the best coefficient of drag. They're not the most aerodynamic thing. So when you take that air that they have to punch through away, they tend to build a lot more speed. Taking a quick look on the cameras there at Ayrton Grimm, who's been working through some engine issues, I think related to mostly the throttle body, trying to get that car running properly again.
They were not hopeful that car would see the racetrack again this weekend, so even them out there taking the grid is impressive just to get that going. Looks like his Hilo's car is still there, but they've got a truck over there ready to pull it away. So we're not going to get a green this time, but maybe one more revolution around before we turn them back loose. And looking at the schedule, you know, we've got still opportunity for at least 2 or 3 more laps once we go back green. Provided if this pace lap is real fast, maybe we will. Maybe they're going to go back green. I'm just watching the pace car lights again. They're pretty good about turning them off late and giving us the chance to go, but I still see yellow lights. And they're actually still working over there at turn 14. They got a flatbed to 57 there, Tom. Does that give us any indication of what else may have happened?
No, I mean, there was obviously the smoke, so that could potentially just be anything up to and including an engine failure. So we're not totally sure, as they've dragged it to the end of the gravel trap, but then are putting it on a flatbed, which tells me it won't roll. So I know that the rear end transmission, the rear end differentials, the transmissions, the engines, whatever else, it's not unheard of for those to expire on the Corvette. Now, what is interesting is this race will set the grid based on fast lap for tomorrow morning's race 3. The only time that they don't do that is if we don't get any green flag running, meaning no one gets a good representative lap time. So we're currently in that situation. No one has a good lap right now, but if we go back to green, you almost have to wonder, do you give yourself a little bit more space and keep the position that you have just to make sure you get a really quick lap in, or do you risk not getting a good lap in, getting a decent finishing position, and then all of a sudden starting 5, 6, 7 positions back before? We have seen that happen, and it can really, really change the dynamic of your weekend, and it's not for the better.
Well, and Eric Jensen pitting in, by the way, in the 184, so it looks like he might be having an issue that he's going to try to sort out as well. But, you know, that's an interesting point, Tom. How much of that is running through through your head? You were a champion of the series back in 2022, and it wasn't by accident. You were really, really fast, but also understanding your situation on the racetrack. How much crew chiefing are you doing to yourself?
You know, these races are so short, it's really hard to think about that stuff. The only way that that you can think about it is if you have one of these full course yellow moments. But in general, I mean, this is a go kind of race series. You just have to push for every single thing and hope that doesn't happen. It's a pretty high level play to try to manipulate that situation that we just talked about, but it's not undoable.
Field still lined up behind the safety car. We did see Michael Hilo's car get successfully pulled off the racetrack. So the Eibach 350Z headed back to the paddock to repairs. Now Christian Aranha's car was about to go on the flatbed, so I'm hoping next time by we'll get a green. And again, Ayrton Grimm real slow on the front straightaway. And Tom, I wonder if he's doing exactly what you talked about.
Well, maybe. That's very possible. I was going to guess that he's just using this as a hardship situation. But yeah, I mean, this car has been in the top 3 in practice and then had issues in qualifying and ever since. So there's no reason that he couldn't just hang back and just start going. He's very possible, and I'm guessing they have team radios too, so they could have just come up with this strategy with a little bit of help from pit lane.
Yeah, he's done this before, actually.
Oh, okay.
So when he just kind of laid way back and just kind of ran his own thing, because to your point, the fastest lap sets race 3. If they feel like they've got this car fixed adequately, I don't see any reason not to do this.
I mean, I'd swing for that, especially once your weekend's off the rails like that. That would be a really compelling thing to have happen. All of a sudden, that turbo MX-5, fans trackside are going to see it come by about 30 or 40 seconds later than the rest of the field. That very well may be what that car is doing.
And I think for Grimm, he's leaving a lot of gap, because what you don't want to do, again, he's going to be much quicker than the tail of the field, just based on the spread across the order here this weekend. You don't want to get into the back of any drama that happens in the next lap or two. So you really need, I mean, you'd like to back yourself up to basically have half the track between the leaders and half the track up to the drivers at the tail of the lead lap. So get yourself as much space as possible. And he can afford this luxury because he just dropped to the tail, right? You can't, everyone else would have to give up all their spots that they would otherwise get points for. Ayrton wasn't going to get points in this race. You might as well. So love the strategy. I love the savvy call there. John and Alyssa Grimm on the radios planning out this strategy here and seeing if Ayrton can launch himself forward for race number 3. Lights still on here, Tom, but I imagine that we're going to go back green this time because I see yellow flags have been put away. That usually signifies that we're coming to a restart. 11 minutes have elapsed of this 15-minute or so race, which means that we would likely only get one competition lap coming into the end of race number 2. Cars I'm eyeing, Emil Tab is in a high-risk, high-reward situation, or not even high-reward, high-risk situation of losing more positions on the start. He absolutely has to nail this one. Matt Waldbaum in a little bit better position. He's got the quick shifts, but he doesn't have any more power, really, than the Miata behind. I think both V8 cars at the front are in a really good position. Also, Joel Morrison has always been really quick on the starts. That's the neon green S2006. And then, obviously, there's the Corvette with the automatic transmission in 5th with Aaron Lichty as well. So I think the car at risk is Emil Tab, but if he gets a good start, that car can easily make up a position or two if he gets a good start. Let me say if he gets a good start one more time for good measure. Yeah, there you go. If he gets a good start. All right, lights are out on the safety car. We will be going green. For how long, it's unsure, but 1 or 2 laps will be the likely call here from race control. And Matan Rosenberg going to try to hold back Eric Magnussen. Eric Magnussen would really like to get by Matan Rosenberg. He has to start beating him if he wants a shot at the title. You can't let Matan get away with this too many more times or he'll lock things down. He's drop races off left and right, and quickly filling up the 14 race bucket you need with firsts and seconds. Championship format here is 14 races, your best 14 plus the 4 rounds at Pittsburgh International Race Complex. That's how we decide our champion here this year. Rosenberg came in as the championship leader only by 9 points over Eric Catil. So he'd look to extend it here. Green flag back in the air, and we're back underway at GRIDLIFE Summer Apex at Eibach GLTC. And very quickly, Rosenberg's back on power, but it looks like Magnussen's going to keep him honest. They're only a car length and a half between the two, almost 3 wide there as they come up past the start-finish line for cars deeper in the field.
Yeah, the best starter I saw are the headlights on in the background. Azimuth Muhammad gets around Ryan Power for the start. Emil Tab just barely hangs on to it. Joel Morrison brave down the outside, gets around. Gets around Aaron Lichty, but it's a holdup for Matt Waldbaum. Something wrong with that car. Emil Tab going to go around the outside and I think take a couple more cars with him. Waldbaum back to pace just a little bit, but on the back foot now has Morrison trying to sweep around the outside as drops start to fall. Oh boy.
Yeah, a little bit of raindrops here. I'm not sure if it's going to be enough to really impact the grip level here, but if it stays like that for a lap or two, it might. Down the back straightaway towards turn 5, a little bit of some drivers struggling with grip leaving turn 3. But Rosenberg leads Magnussen, leads Tab now, heading down towards 5.
Oh, Tab is racy. He's not necessarily the best car on the brakes. Magnussen has been absolutely killing it there. Joel Morrison lunges up the inside on Waldbaum, and Hale's going to try to go around the outside with him. 2x2x2. Muhammad in the orange MR2 Spider flicks it back up the inside as a poor run for Chat Troop is going to give him another opportunity. This car's going to charge into the top 10 on this restart.
Asmath looking really racy right now, absolutely pouncing on anyone that was sleeping on the restart and charging his way up in towards the top 10. I think that is a top 10 spot he's fighting for right now with Ryan Power, and then Andy Smedegard is next on the chopping block in that FA24 86.
Yeah, that aggressive move from Muhammad actually lost him a couple spots there exiting turn number 6. He's still side by side with Ryan Power now for about 10th position as I think Smedegard was able to get back around him. Morrison, cork in the bottle, absolutely holding up the field through the entry of the carousel. It's going to give Aaron Lichty an opportunity to look to the outside. You can't do that. I'm going to quote you. He takes the outside rim around the outside of the carousel, and they're going to go side by side into the King. Waldbaum, is he going to be brave? No, backs out of it.
Yeah, the size difference between the Corvette and the S2000. That Corvette's a much bigger car. Here comes Tab on Magnussen, though, side by side towards Canada Corner. That was a big tank slapper moment for Asmat Muhammad in the orange MR2. Into Canada Corner now. Second place under fire from a much smaller car. Tab side by side with the gold M3.
Aaron Lichty has the wick turned up on the C8 as well. He charges up the inside on Joel Morrison for Canada Corner. He's going to drag race him, but a little bit of bodywork dislodged, potentially some contact with Morrison as he loses a rear tire. He's got to tire down a big moment for all these cars. They all get through without contact. Smedegard goes for a big ride.
Wow, that was really
that
lucky.
Looked like a cracked rim almost as a piece of the lip missing on that thing.
I think you're exactly right, Tom. That was a great avoidance by everybody there. Kyle Hale's got trouble as well. White flag is waving, and you're right, the rim is cracked on that S2000. Unfortunate for Joel Morrison. Scary moment, but everybody got through there okay. And up at the front here, Tom, battles on.
Heavy rain into turn 1. Tab's going to look to the inside. This is completely unknown conditions. Look how much water is on the track. All these cars have ABS. Matan Rosenberg is the guinea pig. Emil Tab has the opportunity to repeat race 1 at Mid-Ohio where he won in mixed conditions. This ain't mixed. This is wet. This is absolutely pouring.
An absolute downpour here. And Matan's going to be the first driver to get to it. So that gives Emil Tab an advantage. The Nissan 370, Austin Hurdle going for a ride over the grass at the exit. Carlos Mendez is sideways over the crest of the hill. Matt Beck, Die Win. Everybody struggling for grip there. You see the yellow and red flags out for slippery surface conditions, and it's going to be a battle of who can make it back here at Road America.
And I think it's only wet in turns 1 through 3. It might be dry as we head back towards. It sure is. Look at this. It's completely dry down into turn 5. Changing conditions for these drivers as they navigate 4 miles for the last time of Road America. It's going to be standing yellow in the last 2 corners because of Joel Morrison. So if Emil Tab wants to get anything done, he's really got to get it done by Canada Corner.
I was saying Emil Tab really could use another lap like that. That would have really helped his MX-5 with the amount of experience he has, but I'm not sure he's going to get it all the way around the racetrack here. Through turn 7 now, chasing a much bigger, much heavier car. Almost 1,000 pounds difference between these 2 cars, with the Falcon Corvette leading the way and the blue NB Miata in trail, Tom, into 8.
Yeah, in fact, fun fact for you, Matan Rosenberg weighed 3,803 pounds
so
at
more
the
than
end
1,000 pounds.
At the end of race number 3. The maximum competition weight is actually 3,800 pounds, but no one's ever actually been over that before, so they didn't know what to do, and he's just here. Look at the run that Emil Tab has around the carousel. If he can stay brave and get a draft through the kink, he's got maybe that last braking zone. It depends on how many corners they're covering Joel Morrison with.
Yeah, here we go into the kink into Canada Corner now. It looks like Emil Tab with one big send could get there. He's all over the back of Matan Rosenberg into Canada Corner. If he's going to get it done, it's going to have to be into Canada Corner. Here they come. Not quite there. No yellow at 12, though, so he could have gotten it done. Now into 13, there will almost certainly be a flag covering that station unless Joel was able to pull away. Through turn 13, Billy Mitchell Bent. No yellow there, Tom. Here we go. Joel's gotten off track. Here comes Tab for the lead. He's going to have one more corner. It'll be a drag race.
There is no way the Miata wins the drag race, but we'll dream that it could happen. Come on, tuck it up in there and go for it. Flat shift, keep it in. And we still have a drag race for 3rd as well. Can the C8 maybe get a run on Magnussen?
Checkered flag, and Matan Rosenberg, by a smaller margin than we thought, is going to pick up his 7th win of the season by half a car length over Emil Tab. Then it's Magnussen, Lichty, 3rd and 4th. 5th place, Matt Waldbaum. That was a battle to the end, way closer than I thought it was going to be. Lewis Chatroop makes it up the order.
Yeah, and in the background, Brian Power has a great run up the inside on Austin Hurdle. They were drag racing to the finish. A couple of cars that went on a big ride just coming across the line now as they're going to all shuffle. It looks like Hurdle did beat Power to the line. Now, what happened with Aaron Grimm? Was he able to get a dry lap in? I don't know.
You're right. That's a good point. With the rain there, it's going to slow the lap. Well, it doesn't matter. I mean, he's going to be on the same level playing field as everybody else. So what is the 2-car of Ayrton Grimm able to do on the lap time here? Let's pull up a lower third for Ayrton Grimm with his best lap of the race, if we could, and we'll see what that should do for him here. That's the number 2 car, and he finishes 26th unofficially, Tom. But what is it going to be?
So let me do this unofficially as I speak out loud. The fastest lap of the race goes to Emil Tab on that final lap. And again, they may not use this because there was only one green flag lap. It's not a great representation of pace, but we'll go through the exercise. Emil Tab had the fastest lap, then Matan Rosenberg. Then I believe Ayrton Grimm was the next fastest car, which would potentially put him into third by 1/10 of a second over Eric Magnussen. Aaron Lichty was a little bit quicker than all 3 of those. So it would be more or less something like Tab, Lichty, Rosenberg, Waldbaum, Grimm, Magnussen, or give or take. This is all sporty facts here.
So actually, we can probably get fastest lap. We should be able to sort this ticker also by qualifying order, and that would maybe shuffle things around for us to see how this worked out unofficially, of course, if they use that.
Yeah, even if it doesn't work out, this has been fun to watch. We got someone to cheer for. They're playing a little bit of strategy, and even with the wet, I mean, that was just so compelling. How does it look?
P5 for Grimm unofficially. So, and just as we lose the timing also. So that was, I needed 10 more seconds, Emma. But a P5 for Ayrton Grimm in the number 2 car.